This whole thing was about the freedom and having your own legacy regardless of what that might be. I'd been in the restaurant business for 15 years plus, put myself through college doing it, graduated college, was in working for big name restaurants, if you will. Was in the business for quite some time and got out. You know, when you have a kid and you're trying to stay up till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't bode well. So I actually got out of the business for a while. And I actually happened to meet Mark, my business partner and brewer, at a social engagement at a church. I had talked about getting back in the bar restaurant business, and he had talked about opening a brewery. So after quite a few beverages, we ended up joining forces, and Air 2 Legacy Brewing was born.
For me, it was traveling to Europe, all over the UK and of course Germany, and some of the other great beer nations over there, and developing this love for local breweries. Because every time you got off a train station, it seemed like the brewery is across the street. In the first place we went to, you had the fresh local beer, and it was the flavors were wonderful. And then the whole culture behind going into a pub or a small restaurant and seeing the locals and seeing what they're having and talking with them, I realized we didn't really have that. And so when I got back to the States, I started kind of researching into it and kind of went to Mendocino Brewing. And it was one of those perfect days that just fills you with all the good feelings. It had this crisp air, and it just got done raining, and it had this great smell in the air and nice people. And it's like this old cabin. And I had their Peregrine Ale, I think. And I started tasting, and I go, I've got to do this.
Legacy Brewing, when Mark and I sat down, we really wanted to look at how our United States was formed, where it came from, and we feel as a country we've kind of gotten away from treating each other with courtesy and respect and discussing issues without wanting to kill each other. And back in the day, when our country was being formed, we had a lot of conversations in bars. We had a lot of conversations in places where people gathered and had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hell, our Marine Corps was formed in a bar. So we kind of said, so the legacy of our country does play a pivotal role in why we're sitting here today talking about beer. And we wanted to pay homage to that. We're right across the street from Camp Pendleton. We're also right across the street here at this location from Miramar. And we do get a lot of folks from those respective bases, and then we appreciate everything those guys do. I won't go into whether or not we're one side or the other on a fence, but we love all Americans regardless race, color, creed, and we want to make sure that people understand that they have a place to come and talk about this stuff, whether or not they talk about that or not, or they want to come in and talk about what their kids did last week. Everybody has a legacy in something.
So I have certain flavors I really like. So there are so many styles of beer, and I like a lot of them, but not all of them. And so you won't see me brewing a lot of things I don't normally enjoy myself. And within that, there's ones that I may not enjoy a lot, but I'll brew them, and then I'll kind of put the aspects of them that I like the most, and I'll kind of punch those notes up. Let's say I like something with a very piney aroma, so I'm going to push those notes up, and I want some balance underneath this hop overload. So I'm going to mash it a certain way. I'm going to have a certain malt base that's going to still have a palate underneath the hop. So that's how I approach that IPA, that specific one I'm brewing. I just look at every style that I like a Guinness you'd get in Ireland, and it's just this wonderful, cereal-y type beverage is so great. So I go, I want to brew that here. So I've done that many times until I get the recipe just the way I want it. So now I can feel like I can enjoy that here so I don't have to take the plane ride.
I think we make a pretty damn good product. People tend to enjoy it. We're making some creative things. We're also making a lot of things to style. We're doing some things other breweries aren't doing, and they're doing things that we're not doing. I mean, and that's the thing. There's a beer out there for everybody. Right now, we've got our guava beer, which has been one of our flagship beers since day one. People, when they come in the door, especially if they're not a craft beer drinker, will say, I don't like beer, and I take that as a challenge, because I will guarantee I find you something that you actually will enjoy and will drink more than one of. We're very proud of the fact we make a balanced product from start to finish, and I think if you go through all of our beers, start to finish, you'll see that we actually are able to provide a well-balanced product regardless of the style of beer.
There's a gamut of these great products, and to kind of open up the curtain and allow them to see all these possibilities. And there's nothing better than interact with a customer when they're tasting a sample of something and watching that look on their face going, man, this is a Scotch ale, this is fantastic. I didn't even know this existed. So for me, it's letting people know that we are a modern craft brewery that has something that's underneath us that kind of sustains us, and that we built ourselves from, and that has to do with hundreds of years of great, brewing heritage. And I think you've seen on YouTube that interesting one where it says how beer saved the world. But after a couple beers, you can probably make that statement, right?